This was a step, I think, in the right direction to building a cohesive district and inspiring people to believe in the district.
City Hall records show that in spring of 2013, after winning a seat in a special election for the city council, the councilwoman headed to Ghana in West Africa. Here are pictures from that trip in which Cantrell used a City Hall credit card to pay for the airfare.
This victory, make no mistake about it, this victory is not about Latoya Cantrell. This campaign did not start about self. It only started with and has been rooted in the people of the city of New Orleans, which all of us represent here tonight.
And now to an exclusive WDSU Investigates story. New documents show New Orleans Mayor Latoya Cantrell used her city credit card to pay for nearly $9,000 of personal expenses with taxpayer dollars.
I stand by that decision and will not in any way apologize for that.
More breaking news this evening as Fox 8 obtains security camera footage that appears to show Mayor Cantrell breaking a city ordinance that outlines how the Upper Pontalba apartment can be used.
When I hear that, it's an insult, quite frankly.
The attorney for NOPD officer Jeffrey Vappy says his client never admitted to his wife that he had an affair with Mayor Latoya Cantrell.
You have no idea what's going on in that connection.
We have breaking news right now. A recall petition has officially been filed against New Orleans Mayor Latoya Cantrell.
I came in, seems to be how I'm going out. Accusation after accusation after accusation.
Welcome to New Orleans, baby. The city where the streets got more bounce than the mayor got brains. Where every tourist in their little sandals think they safe strolling down Bourbon Street, tossing bees and sipping hurricanes like it's all sweet. Let me break something down real quick. Bourbon Street always been lined up with them steel bollards right in the middle of the streets. Not for decoration, not for vibes, for protection. They there so nobody get mowed down by a drunk driver or a crazy out-of-town fool in a rental. And guess whose job it is to make sure them joints stay in place? The mayor. Yeah, that mean you, Latoya. I'm too busy first-class Cantrell, but instead of keeping the city safe, sis was too busy flexing at Essence Festival and laying up in a taxpayer-funded crib to notice the bottles wasn't even out. One job, shorty. You had one job. Now let's talk about that little three-letter acronym y'all love to throw around like confetti. DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Sounds real progressive, right? But don't get it twisted. DEI ain't just for HR departments and job apps. Nah, DEI hit different when you're talking about elected officials too. The equity ain't just about hiring people who look different. It's about holding every last one of them to the same damn standard. That means when you put a black woman in power, you don't just clap and walk away. You make sure she do the job right, just like you would with a white boy, an Asian woman, a Latin dude, or whoever rocking that seat. Most people uneducated to the acronym think DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, only got to do with jobs, like hiring more black folks, women, or LGBTQ people into companies. That's just one part of the game. DEI is way bigger than just resumes and interviews. DEI is a framework, a system that is supposed to reshape how power, access, and representation work everywhere, and that includes politics. That means DEI don't stop at the HR department. It walk right up to City Hall too. Voters elect someone from an underrepresented background like a black woman, Latina, Hispanic, Asian, or an openly gay candidate. That's DEI in action, you heard me? The idea is that those leaders gonna bring different life experiences to the table, see the blind spots, and fight harder for fairness for the people who usually get overlooked. Here's where it gets messy. The public often think DEI stops at the win, like, oh, we made history, let's celebrate and move on. But true DEI don't just put somebody in the seat, it holds them to the same damn standards once they get there. That means if a white governor got dragged for blowing city funds and corruption, a black mayor gotta get held to that same smoke. DEI don't mean protect them at all costs. It means expect greatness and demand accountability. On the real, inclusion without accountability turns into tokenism, and that ain't justice. That's performative politics. You don't just want a diverse face in office. You want somebody who gonna rep right, govern fair, and not embarrass the community that put them there. But Latoya, she weaponized that DEI shield like a Marvel Universe character, ducking criticism like it was racist every time she got caught slipping. Check this out, baby. It ain't your skin, it's your scandal count. This ain't about hating, it's about accountability, shorty. And Latoya, she let the whole city down. From them missing bollards on Bourbon to them private flights to nowhere. This story right here gonna peel the gold paint and bedazzled rhinestones off her whole legacy. Hey yo, let me break this down real quick for the folks in the back who wasn't paying attention. Bourbon Street, right in the heart of the French Quarter, it's always been a wild mix of tourists, beads, daiquiris, and bad decisions. One thing that's always been solid, them bollards in the middle of the street. Yeah, them metal posts been posted up for decades, blocking off cars from crashing into drunk folks stumbling out the club. That's real pedestrian protection, not no new invention. But guess who fumbled the whole assignment? Your girl Latoya Cantrell, aka the mayor of I Got Better Things to Do. He was supposed to make sure them bollards stayed in place, protecting the people. That's her job. That's city safety 101. But she out here taking trips, flexing on tax dollars, while folks out here getting run down on Bourbon like it's NASCAR. Not to beat a dead horse, but let's talk DEI for a second, cause y'all using it like it's just about hiring folks at Targets or Starbucks. Nah, DEI bigger than that. It's a whole left-leaning political framework built to break down barriers and balance out them power dynamics. And guess what? It don't stop at HR offices. Elected officials count too. That means when somebody from a marginalized community get put in power, like Latoya Cantrell, aka TD, first black woman mayor of New Orleans, that's DEI moving. So boom, Latoya Cantrell was born April the 3rd, 1972, way out in Cali. She wasn't no New Orleans native, but she found her way to the Crescent City in the early 90s when she enrolled at Xavier University of Louisiana. She studied sociology and rooted herself deep in the Broadmoor neighborhood. That's where she really started getting her feet wet in community work. By the early 2000s, Latoya was stepping up heavy for the people in Broadmoor, especially after Hurricane Katrina came through and left the neighborhood looking like a war zone. When the city's recovery plan tried to write Broadmoor off as the green space, he said, nah, we ain't doing that. She organized the community and went to war over it and kept Broadmoor on the map. People in the city respected that.
Head of Broadmoor Improvement Association, Cantrell, quickly made a name for herself as a community organizer who took on major issues, including drainage, and yes, even the pumps not working.
It's not a good thing. We know that it has to be fixed in order for us to continue on the path of rebuilding our neighborhood, and that's why we're afraid. We want to stay dry. You know, we are committed to our city.
In 2012, she took that momentum and ran for New Orleans City Council, snatched up the District B seat, and kept it moving. She was loud on mental health, loud on blight, loud on criminal justice reform, and she ain't shy away from front lines when people needed her. That earned her some real stripes in the city, especially in the hood.
In 2012, Cantrell used her organizing background to launch a campaign for city council in District B, an area of the city that includes both Garden District mansions and Central City blight.
It's about service, and so I will work effectively with all of course, my council members, but the administration as well.
Cantrell fashions herself a champion of the people, unafraid to speak truth to power.
Then came 2017, the big mayor's race. Bitch Landrieu was on his way out, and Latoya stepped up. Her campaign was all about hashtag forward together, sound bites about unity, equity, resilience. She pushed the DEI line hard. She said she was gonna be the people's mayor, and when the ballots dropped, she made history. First black woman mayor of New Orleans. That was big. The city celebrated like it was Mardi Gras Part 2.
If you are just joining us, we are awaiting the arrival of Mayor-elect Latoya Cantrell
And for a while, she rode that wave of goodwill. Then the cracks started showing. Soon as Latoya Cantrell took office in May 2018, she started making moves. She hit the ground talking about equity, infrastructure, but real quick, that whole transparency thing started looking like see-through in the worst way. Her first big red flag, the whole city credit card scandal. Yeah, she was swiping city plastic like it was her own personal American Express card. Flight upgrades, hotel stays, meals, and not them little cheap joints either. She was posted up in first class while taxpayers were stuck in coach. Folks started asking questions like why the mayor needs champagne and silk sheets on our dime. When they pressed her on it, she ain't back down. Said it was about her safety and dignity as a black woman leader. But nah, the people wasn't trying to hear that shit. That ain't DEI, that's VIP behavior on a broke city budget.
Mayor-elect Latoya Cantrell got the news during her last city council meeting representing District B. Attorney General Jeff Landry issued a statement Thursday saying his investigation into her credit card use is active, ongoing, and far from over.
Then came the Pontabla Gate. You know the scandal where she was living rent-free in the city-owned apartment up in the upper Pontabla building right across from Jackson Square? Yeah, that spot's supposed to be strictly city business, not the mayor's private crash pad. But Latoya, she moved like it was hers, posting up, bringing folks through, and getting caught on security footage like it was the Real Housewives of Orleans Parish. Ethics boards was like, nah, shorty, this ain't it. They dropped the whole investigation and ended up ordering her to pay the city back over $29,000 for misusing city property. Cool world.
The city council president made big news live here on Channel 4 this morning, and the city's been buzzing about it all day. She said the council might dock Mayor Latoya Cantrell's pay to cover her $30,000.
Well, the pay cut could come next year.
While all this was going down, reaching the end was looking like the moon. Potholes everywhere, crime running up, and them bollards on Bourbon Street, missing, ghosted, like somebody removed them and forgot to put them back. It ain't no small thing either. Them bollards got pulled for repairs and Cantrell's administration never made sure they got reinstalled. And then boom, a vehicle plows into a crowd on Bourbon. That blood on the ground, that accountability, it all traced back to her. Cause in this city, when them safety checks fall off, people get hurt or worse. And the mayor can't play dumb when her whole job is serving and protecting the people.
At the suspect, 42-year-old Shamsud Din Jabbar. We do know that he is a U.S. citizen, was raised in Texas, has some type of military background, but he is the suspect who got into the firefight with police, who was shot and killed on Bourbon Street.
And don't even get started on the trash crisis. Garbage sat on them curbs for weeks, and when people complained, Latoya clapped back like it was a personal beef. Instead of listening, she's snapping at residents like it's their fault for wanting clean streets.
Right now, from the West Bank to the East Bank of Orleans Parish, people are fed up with the ongoing trash collection chaos. It was already an issue, and Hurricane Ida exacerbated the problem, according to Mayor Latoya Cantrell.
And many people say the city's temporary solution introduced today is trash in itself. WDSU's Shay O'Connor joins us live from one of the impacted neighborhoods where neighbors' frustrations are as high as the pile of garbage. Shay?
That's right. Good night to you, Gina and Stella. Now, many residents throughout Orleans Parish tell me that they are frustrated. Some tell me that their trash hasn't been picked up in more than a month, and it stinks. They're hoping for a resolution sooner than later.
People start saying she running the city like it's her own personal brand. Ain't no collaboration, just commands, no feedback, just finger pointing. Same folks who lifted her up in 2017 was getting tired by 2021. By the time the calendar flipped to 2023, the block was buzzing. Latoya wasn't just on the ropes, she was center stage in a political firestorm, and the whole city tuned in. That recall campaign, oh, it was real, and it had some heavy hitters behind it. Started off small, just a few pissed off residents tired of the mess. But when them Cantrell controversies got spilling, especially the French Quarter security tax scandal and the baller lifestyle in city housing, the whole thing caught fire. The group called No Latoya popped up, and they ain't playing. They was posting up outside supermarkets, barbershops, even hitting second lines with clipboards. Sign this, sign that. They needed tens of thousands for that recall election, and folks were signing like they was co-signing the mixtape. state. And Latoya Cantrell, instead of addressing the reasons people was mad, he clapped back with full arrogance. They tried to silence a black woman in power, she said, played the victim card like a seasoned pro. But people wasn't buying it because the problem wasn't her race or gender, it was the reckless behavior, the mismanagement, the disrespect, and the crime that was out of control. Then the voter roll scandal popped off. Recall team accused the city of having thousands of inactive voters still on the books, folks who moved, died, or been ghosts for years. If they could get the rolls cleaned up, their signature count would hit them all quicker. So what happened? The state stepped in. Secretary of State got involved. A judge ordered the rolls updated. Boom! Just like that, tens of thousands of names wiped clean. And that recall deadline started looking way more dangerous for Latoya. He was shook, not visibly, but her move said it all. She called in lawyers, tried to spin the narrative, and even blamed outside forces for attacking her leadership. But she couldn't spin the truth. The people wasn't feeling her no more. Even the city council started pulling away. These was folks who used to ride with her. Now they was putting out statements, investigating her travel receipts, digging into city credit card abuse issues, and a lot more shit. Audits started dropping like a pea popper from Uptown, and everyone showed the same thing: excess, entitlement, and no accountability. At the same time, crime still running wild. Stores getting jacked in broad daylight. Residents scared to walk outside after dark. The city ain't just broken, it's burning. And Latoya still smirking in press conferences like this all just haters hating. But the hood wasn't hating, the hood was hurt. It was the hood who had given her the nickname Teedy. 2023 kept applying pressure on Latoya, and by mid-year it was no more smoke signals. This was full-blown fire. The recall campaign, even though it ain't make it to a ballot, put the whole city on notice. Whether you rock with her or not, everybody knew Latoya Cantrell wasn't untouchable anymore. But instead of cleaning house and changing her ways, she doubled down, still ducking press, still skirting questions, still acting like New Orleans was tripping and not her. If y'all think that's it, y'all wilder than them people in H-Town who be putting carrots in their gumbo, talking about they got the best food. Alright, so boom, let me put you on game. How the first lady of finesse, Mayor Latoya Cantrell, got caught up in the whole side piece scandal and had the whole city whispering in church pews. See, it wasn't just about politics no more. Nah, this time it was personal. Enter Jeffrey Vappy. Bro was supposed to be her protection. A little Secret Service type beat assigned to the mayor's executive detail. But instead of watching her back, bro was allegedly breaking her back, laying up in the city-owned apartment, feet kicked up, playing house with the mayor herself. And the wildest part, he was a married man. Yeah. First started creeping when Vappy's wife filed for divorce, and them court papers, bruh, them joints read like a reality show script. They was saying Vappy been clocking mad hours on the mayor's detail more than everybody else on the force. Like dude wasn't even pulling regular cop shifts no more. He was on that Cantrell time. And them logs, man, them logs showing him up in the city apartment over and over, hours on hours. Ain't no council meeting go that long, you feel me? Folks started asking, is this man really protecting the mayor, or was he protecting something else? Now Latoya Cantrell, he came out again snapping. This my private life, she said. Check this out, homegirl. How private can it be when a taxpayer's footing the bill for the crib y'all Netflix and chilling in? And let me not forget the preferential treatment. Rock got perks, time schedule slots, all types of special favors. Our other officers was out there dodging bullets on them in those streets.
Good evening, and thanks for watching. I'm Katie Moore.
And I'm Sharice Gibson. At today's hearing, the consent decree monitor wanted to know more about the internal investigation of Officer Jeffrey Vappy.
The NOPD officer, who is part of the mayor's executive protection detail, was accused of overbilling the city and collecting overtime he didn't earn.
One officer even said Vappy ain't even supposed to be working that much with her, but somehow he always just so happened to be the one assigned to her trips, her flights, her events, her everything. I'ma leave it up to y'all. You connect the dots. And the people, man, the people heated. We got potholes bigger than bathtubs. Crime looking like Gotham City after dark, and the mayor out here acting like this Jeffrey dude her king. But this ain't no fairy tale. This that messy, down bad scandal season type drama that only goes down in the NO. At the end of the day, this ain't just about cheating. It's about misuse of power, dirty favoritism, and the mayor straight up playing with city time and city dollars. We ain't paying taxes for no love love motel vibes inside City Hall, you heard me? The people of New Orleans ain't dumb no. We've seen through the lashes in the press statements. Latoya Cantrell got caught slipping, and Vappy, man down. Wife left him, uniform looking bent, and now he out here known as the mayor's man. Hey, you can't spell scandal without Cantrell. Remember that. But picture this, just like the Jazz Fest in Mardi Gras, another scandal spent the bin. This one was the knockout blow, the IG's report. City Inspector General dropped heat about her City Hall apartment living, that spot she was crashing in the Upper Pontabla building in Jackson Square, rent free. She was trying to say it came with the job, like she was the Queen of France or something. That unit was city property. She was posted up in it like it was her personal penthouse.
Once the New Orleans City Council made the decision to remove the unit as use of the mayor, and that was a practice over 90 years or so, I have been in compliance with that request and ordinance that passed. So in regards to the back and forth, I'm actually just as surprised as you, because I have not been in the unit since July.
Legal experts started chirping. Some saying it was illegal occupancy. Others saying it was an ethics violation at minimum. The city's attorney dropped a letter saying she owed more than $6,000 in rent. And even after all that, she still refused to come up with the bread. Then in late 2023, things got real icy between her and city council. It pulled funding from some of her pet projects, started passing laws to limit her power, and even considered voting to strip her of her Pontabla keys. It was clear she wasn't running City Hall no more. She was just occupying space. And the city still struggling. Infrastructure breaking down. 911 slow to respond. Carjackers still wilding. People leaving New Orleans not because they're tired of the culture, but because they're tired of the chaos. By the time 2024 hit, it was about how she made it this far without getting pulled out the seat. Latoya had become the poster child for what happens when power meets pride and DEI get weaponized instead of honored. She was elected on a wave of change and dipped out, leaving the city worse than she found it. A DEI mayor, alright, but dumb decisions, egotistical mindset, and incompetent leadership was her downfall. Her name gonna live in New Orleans history books, not as a trailblazer, as a lesson. A reminder that just cause you break barriers don't mean you above accountability. Just cause you repping diversity don't mean you qualify to run a city. Cause in the end, the streets remember, and they don't lie. Alright, now we at the end of the road, and let's keep it a buck. This whole Latoya Cantrell reign been looking like a Tubi crime doc in real time. From City Hall to courtrooms, Shorty been moving like she forgot the camera was rolling. It started with her homie, Randall Farrell, a city building inspector who ain't playing by no rules. In September 2024, the Fed slapped that boy with an indictment. Robbery, fraud, the whole nine. They say Randy was out here breaking bread, not with the needy, but with public officials. And guess who that is? Yep, Latoya Cantrell. Bruh was passing out Saints tickets, steak dinners, and iPhones like party favors. And in return, they say Latoya Cantrell turned around and fired a city official who had the nerve to investigate him.
Businessman Randy Farrell charged in a 25-count indictment with conspiracy, wire fraud, and honest services fraud. Sources say he worked with his business partner, Fuad Ziton, to provide Public Official 1 expensive items. Sources say Public Official 1 is Mayor Latoya Cantrell. The indictment alleges in 2019, Farrell bought Mayor Cantrell tickets to the Saints NFC Championship game, a lunch at a steakhouse, and a new iPhone, adding up to about $9,200.
Whole career gone over a filet mignon in a football game. That shit was wild. That's how deep this favor for favor game go. How Latoya Cantrell wasn't indicted herself. Not yet. But the feds labeled her an unindicted co-conspirator. That's basically Fed talk for you not in the orange jumpsuit yet, but we watching your ass real close. Then, as if that wasn't messy enough, they had to bring out the broom and sweep up Jeffrey Vappy again. Her little executive protection boot thing. In July 2024, Vappy got indicted too. Them charges? Wire fraud in line to the FBI. Bro was clocking fake hours saying he was on duty when really he was laid up with the mayor in the city on crib like he on paid vacation. The indictment said Vappy was trying to hide his romantic relationship with Latoya Cantrell, lying on them time cards, twisting up the paper trail.
Mayor is listed as Public Official 1 in this, not indicted, not accused of any wrongdoing, but definitely at least implicated for what the feds say was a romantic involvement with Jeffrey Vappy.
That's right, Travers. Of course, we've been staying on top of this moment by moment. Sarah's had a moment to we've been diving deeper and deeper into the documents. Sarah, touch on specifically page 7 is a large revelation, as well as 10, really the whole thing. But as we have had some time to go through it, what's our latest take that we've been going through?
Yeah, one of the things that stands out about this indictment is the information that relates to former interim superintendent of the NOPD, Michelle Woodfork. And there's suggestions in the indictment. We know there were disciplinary actions that were taken against Jeffrey Vappy in 2023, internal Public Integrity Bureau disciplinary actions that were the result of his time cards that he submitted. It appears from the indictment that when Superintendent Woodfork advised the mayor that she was planning to sustain those disciplinary actions, that at that point Jeffrey Vappy attempted to influence that decision. The indictment alleges that he contacted Michelle Woodfork, that he tried to talk to her about it, asked her to quote unquote make it right, and that he also met up with her or tried to meet up with her at a daiquiri shop to discuss the findings of that investigation. The other thing that's significant is that it's sometime after that Mayor Cantrell made the decision not to give Michelle Woodfork the job as permanent chief of the New Orleans Police Department, but instead gave that job to another candidate.
And again, who's public official number 1? Say less, same name, same mess. Latoya Cantrell. This ain't just about some drama between the mayor and her muscle. It's a whole federal investigation, and it ain't no secret no more. News outlets done confirmed it. The feds got a wide-ranging, active, ongoing investigation into your favorite TD. It's looking like they're trying to piece the whole puzzle together. Bribery, abuse of power, cover-ups, dirty payroll games, and straight-up scandalous love affairs.
I'm open to any investigations that involve me and or people that work with me and for me. And so I'm going to leave that right there.
The NO looking around like, yo, this is a mayor or the main character in the RICO case. From Baptist shady hours to stake out payoffs to firing honest workers just to protect her circle, Latoya Cantrell turned the mayor's office into her own personal playground. And now the feds circling like sharks smelling blood in Lake Pontchartrain. Yeah, she's still holding the title for now, with the walls closing in fast. One more charge, one more co-conspirator flipping, and it's curtains. Ain't no press conference moved enough to talk your way out of this one. New Orleans deserved better, but under Cantrell, it's been nothing but drama, corruption, and cover-ups. Stay tuned, this ain't the end. This is the prelude to the fall.